Hey, T classes, it's Tea Tip Tuesday. How do you transport products to your event? Let me tell you, I have been in situations where an event is in a park, and that's probably one of the harder events. And it also depends on the load in details. And what do I mean by that? Most organizers, well, all organizers really of any event should provide you with load in details. And if the event is at a park or, wherever the event is, they should let you have a load in period in which you can back your car in or even drive onto the grass or, get as close to where you are going to be vending as possible, just to make it easier for the vendors. So you want to make sure that you find out the load in details. But I've experienced where I've like missed my load in window and load in time, and I've had to, bring a trolley and drag it across the grass just to get to the vending area. And I'll tell you, it is no fun. So you want to ensure that you understand the load in details, understanding the time of the event, understanding, specifically when you have to have everything loaded in by. Also, I wanted to go over like bins versus boxes. I'm at a place right now where I'm really digging bins. I know that bins cost a lot of money. They are not cheap, especially if you get some good ones with wheels on it. And I would recommend getting bins maybe from places like Uline and not, Walmart or any of the major department stores, only because they're going to be, the price is going to be a little bit more inflated. So buying bins can get costly, but I'll tell you, it really creates an opportunity for you to either organize your bins better, label your bins. Boxes just do not last very long. And can you imagine where I have been in this situation where it's raining and you have boxes that you are transporting your product in? It is not fun. Sometimes the boxes are falling apart, things get wet, your items could get wet. So I would just strongly suggest, especially if you are vending outside, that you go with bins, having bins with wheels on it, making sure that you're labeling things, even if you are using boxes. Ensuring that you have, like, whether it's branded tablecloths and, any type of cash register system, making plugs, these are all things that you really need to make sure that within your vending sort of checklist, that you're making sure that you have. Also, think about saran wrapping things. That also, if you are transporting items far, you want to think about like saran wrapping the boxes if you're going to do boxes, even palletizing the boxes. And what that means is if you are doing something upwards of 12 boxes and you are shipping it in any way, see if you can palletize them. You can put them on a pallet and wrap it up and then have it shipped. And sometimes that is a lot cheaper than shipping individual boxes. So that's definitely a way that you can get your items, depending on how far you're vending. Another thing I would recommend too is sometimes we think that it's cheaper to drive everything when you're vending, but maybe it is more cost effective, because maybe you have to rent a car and, like there's a lot of different ways that you can try to transport your items from one place to another. And so thinking about if you'll ship them, if you'll drive them, if you'll put them in a suitcase and put it on a plane, what is the way that you will actually get your product to your vending event and space. Think about if you'll use movers versus DIY, meaning, and I think most of us anyway, who are starting out, you think that, oh, it must be cheaper to just go ahead and do it myself. And in reality, it takes a lot of energy. It is, very difficult sometimes to gather all the boxes or so you may even want to consider having, going on a different, different apps and just seeing like, can you hire anyone for the day? So any kind of day laborer, just to see if somebody can help you to, move things around, take things from place to place. Those are all things that you may want to consider when vending, because it can become very overwhelming, and sometimes doing it yourself is not always the most efficient and the best way. And by the time you get to the event, you might be exhausted, especially if you're driving, traveling, so these are all things to really consider and think about when you're think about transporting your products for a vending event. So, look at the cost, see, can you fly to the event? Is it best to package, everything up in a truck and just take it yourself? Can you just put it in a van? And so these are all things depending on how much product you're bringing, how large the event is, where the event is located, how far in proximity to where you are, does this work? And will it, and what makes most sense?